Hey guys, well I'm happy to show a new flashlight I got. Now that I'm living in Eastern Oregon, I really wanted to get something that had some throw on it. And previously, which we'll do some comparison later, is I had the TK-40. That was one of the brightest lights that I had. Now the TK-40, even though it's getting a little bit older, is still a very versatile light. And I may go over some of the features of both in this video. But very sleek packaging. Magnetic closures on the box, which is very cool. This is the RRT-3, the Jetbeam. I'll let you get a little closer here. It's the Jetbeam. It stands for Rapid Response Tactical Light. And yes, you can see that's 1200 lumens. While I got up close here, it does have a nice clicky switch. Has a port that I'll show you later. It's also for added remote. Caution, hot surface. Up here you'll see this is a magnetic switching ring that'll get us to our different levels. And see if you can see the SST50 down there, if I can get it to focus, if I get real up close. But that also gives you a good look at the orange pill reflector that they added in. Now initially I was a little disappointed. This had a smooth beam reflector, and as I mentioned, get the box out of the way here, this light is not terribly new. It came out last year, I believe, sometime, and it had a smooth reflector on it, so I was sort of disappointed. But after I saw the beam with the orange peel, it still throws incredible, and does a really nice job of just really kind of smoothing that beam out. Not so hot spot in the middle, and you know, it's a very useful light. Now immediately you notice the high quality. I was very impressed with the build quality, the materials, the knurling on here. It does have a stainless steel bezel. It is crenulated, but it's not really a strike bezel, but the stainless steel is hard enough to protect it if you need to break glass or just protect the light from drops or anything like that. It does have the military, I think they call it the, I can't remember the name of it's the IPX8, which is their standard waterproofing for military. They've done some drop tests and stuff like that as well, but overall, pretty impressed with the light. Nowadays with the LED technology, it's pretty incredible what you can do with the just the little pocket lights. And this is my EDC, my PD20 of the Fenix, and I'm still impressed with the qualities of the Fenix TK-40. Now we're talking about completely different LEDs. You can see just the reflectors quite a bit shorter here. It's not quite as deep. It doesn't quite have the heat dissipating qualities. One of the things that the TK-40 was one of the first lights that came out with the MCE, which you can see in there is a quad LED. Also has the orange peel driver. And one of the things I was looking for, the criteria, when I purchased the RRT-3, is I wanted something that could take rechargeables. Now, although you can use rechargeable AA's, I wanted something a little bit more powerful and that I could recharge that maybe wasn't a specialty. So I've been looking into the 18650 and something around that range. Really has a lot of power in a power cell and is still rechargeable without having to spend a ton of cash constantly replacing the typical like Surefire CR123s. So diving in, we'll skip the TK-40 for now, and I've got some beam shots that I'll put in after this out in the woods. I apologize, I initially was going to get some really long shot of across the ridge where I was up on the butte, but the camera just didn't pick it up. I could see it with my naked eye, but the camera just wouldn't pick it up. Alright, turn the lights off so you can kind of go through the modes and see it a little bit more clearly. This is low, all the way to the left. This is only 1 lumen. This will run for 250 hours. 250 hours is constantly on for about 10.5 days. Pretty incredible. Still works great, easy enough You know, it still has a little bit of a hot spot. It still throws around the room pretty good. You won't get too far outdoors in it, but it's enough to read and to walk around a room and you know, to do daily tasks and stuff like that. Still pretty impressive, but again, this is the tactical light. So one click up is going to be 150 lumens. And as I go up, this will probably just get washed out, which it's really that bright. 150 lumens is twice the original Surefire 6P. 150 lumens is a very standard amount of lumens for any modern LED light. Very impressive, and that is second to low. 150 lumens, you get 620 minutes. Next click up, we go to 300 lumens. 300 lumens is 350 minutes. Then you go to 470. 470, you're really approaching some of the usable lumens out of the TK-40. And we'll do a comparison later. But 470 lumens is 230 minutes. And I'll put this all down below. But next click is 550 for 180 minutes. Then you get 850. 850 is 120 minutes, so 2 hours at 850. And you go to 1200 lumens. Pretty impressive. You get 80 minutes, just over an hour and 20 minutes of runtime. And it really is impressive. And the thing I really enjoyed about it is because of the orange peel, you actually get a decent amount of usable light from the side spill here, not just the hotspot. The other thing I really enjoyed about it was the fact that you can use their highest one for a while. There are some brighter LEDs out there, and let me turn the light on, I'll bring you back. Oh, there's also strobe. And strobe is, as you can see, the frequencies change. It's a sort of a random strobe, which is very impressive. So a very usable light. You know, there were brighter lights out there, and anything, being a flashaholic and looking for the best light, you're just going to be constantly disappointed, because by the time you've got your light for a month or two, they're going to have a next one out. And the SST50, they do have an SST90, and you're also going to see a lot of manufacturers claim lumens that aren't quite true lumens. If you're really interested in lights and you haven't found Candle Power forums, you know, go check those guys out, because those guys will pretty much run the gamut of every light out there, and they're very knowledgeable. Now with the SST90, there are some lights. I think Olight has one for over, it's like 2200 lumens. Couple things. One, some of those run up to 6 18650s, which gets a little crazy. Some of them have their own proprietary battery you know, system, and we can open this up and I'll show you what the battery is on here. But the other thing about the SST90 is a lot of the lights you'll find won't run full lumens for the entire length. You may be getting, you know, half hour of their turbo or their highest power that they have, and then it's going to automatically kick it down to save on battery and to save the head. You know, may not be able to dissipate that much heat. As you get more powerful lights, you're going to get really hot, and so you've got to have a way to dissipate that heat, or you're just going to burn out the LED. This has a very well machined battery case, I guess a cartridge you'd call it. You can put 6 CR123s in here. Now, one thing you're going to immediately be turned off is probably the price. You'll see on the website it's $325. I got this through goinggear.com. They actually had multiple deals that I took advantage of. They had a holiday special where I got a 10% off. I also used their rebate on here where they sent out an email where they're actually overstocked on these and they were trying to get rid of them. So they had 20% off that. And then the other thing Going Gear was doing, at least for a limited time, is they included a Trustfire charger and the 3 18650s. And depending on where you get these, this can be anywhere from 10 to 20 bucks per battery if you're getting a good one. Trustfire is a decent brand. It's not the best. You can get some protected ones that are up to 2900 for the 18650s. So, but for free battery and charger included, along with the discounts, it brought it down to an approachable level. that I felt I could get. Now, as I mentioned with the LED technologies, you're always going to have something better coming along, and I'm sure something will. I'm really excited to see kind of with the XML. They're having some really nice, turnouts with the XML driver. So you're going to wonder about weight in something like this. Considered some of the pocket rockets, some of those little flashlights that really are tremendous. This is a 3D mag light. I'm going to weigh it with batteries because that's what you're going to be carrying. It is 2 pounds 1 ounce. TK-40 with batteries, 1 pound 1 ounce, and the RRT-3 with the batteries in there, I've got 1 pound 8 ounces. So, it's a little bit of weight. It's not as crazy as carrying a mag light, and if you can see the difference there. So it's really not, especially the folks that aren't used to having the newer LED technologies. You're not carrying, lithiums. There are some really good advantages to the newer lights. A lot of people like their old trusty mag lights, especially for bopping the creatures that go bump in the night. But when you get into stuff that's, military approved 6061 aluminum, these are durable lights. These aren't going to fall apart on you. And the TK-40 has been a great light. The Jetbeam being more of a tactical light isn't going to give you all the modes that like a Fenix will. And to go over Fenix real quick, let's see. Let me turn the light off and I'll show you the differences real quick. Alright, now of course we all know this camera doesn't really like dark things. Here's the TK-40. This is on turbo. They claim, I think it's like 6 something lumens. Here's the Jetbeam. One thing you'll notice is the, especially if you shoot it on the wall here, I'm going to raise you up, is you can see the color difference. The TK-40 is more of a natural tone compared to the SST-50. It was definitely a 7, almost 8 in the color range. But very comparable. This is the 470 lumens out of the RRT-3, and this is on turbo what they claim to be 600, but as you can see, even 470 starts to wash out TK-40. And I can click this down. This is 300 lumens, and it's still, this says superior. If I go back to 470 and I kick it up, I think the one after that is 550. So this is 550 is clearly brighter. You almost can't see the TK-40 anymore. And the TK-40 was considered a very bright light. Now let me kick it down. The TK-40 was nice. Here's low on TK-40, and to give you the specs as a comparison in this video, is low was 13 lumens. So this is going to be, let me just bring this all the way down here. You can see this is 13 lumens, this is 1 lumen. Next, it's what's considered medium on the TK-40 is 93 lumens. And if I go up to 150, you can see the 150 is quite a bit more powerful. I'll drop the RRT-3 and I'll just show you some of the modes here on the TK-40 if you're not familiar. So 93 is still a very, very extremely usable light, and that's considered medium. Fenix does have a high, which is 277. Very impressive. And then back to the turbo, which they say 630. But when I directly compare it, and for you light gurus, forget about the artifacts you kind of see on the outside. I did have some masking issues when I Duracoated this, so that's kind of what you're seeing. But they also have a secondary mode, and if you double tap on turbo, you get Fenix strobe. The turbo and the tactical strobing is kind of goes hand in hand. If I go back and I go to low and I double tap low, you'll see it has a strobe, and this thing is intensely bright, like a beacon strobe. And I think this is one of the most useful backcountry features out there. And if I go to medium and double tap, you'll see this is SOS, 3 short, 3 long. If I back out of that and I go to high and I double tap high, you have a fast blinking. Basically, it's not really much of a strobe, it's sort of a fast blinking mode. So you can kind of get the differences between these two. You know, each has its own feature. I still think the TK-40 is a very capable backcountry light, especially with a lot of the other features that it has. And I'll show you one of the big things that kind of is a down point of the TK-40 is it does take AA's, which is nice. I've got the end loops in there, but it takes 8 of them. Now it will run off of 4 in an emergency. You'll get the same amount of brightness out of there, just half of the lumens. So if that's something you're interested in, I would look at the TK-40. I think they've got 2 new versions past the TK-40 that are out, and you know, there's some pretty cool companies out there doing really neat things with the MCE. But as I mentioned, you are going to see brighter lights out there. You are going to see, you know, other companies that claim to have the same amount of lumens, the 1200 lumens, but maybe they run off of, you know, like 2 CR123s, or maybe just 1 or 2 of the 18650s, which is great, but I really enjoy having the extended runtime. Now, 3 18650s, as I've been using this the last couple weeks, has been a little bit interesting. They do take a lot of power to recharge, and having 3 and having a charger that holds 2 batteries is sort of cumbersome. But I am looking into changing over sort of my EDC into something that takes an 18650. In the Jetbeam line, they've got a couple lights that are really nice. Their RRT-0 excuse me, is very cool, and I've been looking at that because it will actually fit an adapter, and it will run off of a single CR123 or a AA. It won't take the 18650, but I think having a small little light like that is would be great in your kit, especially if you ran out of what they consider, you know, to be an exotic battery of the CR123s, and all you had was rechargeable AA's. You can get both rechargeable, but you got to be careful. Not all lights will run off of, you know, rechargeable batteries. Alright, now there are accessories. I mentioned the remote switch has a pretty robust cap on there, and you won't be able to see in there, but very high quality. I'll give you a close-up look, but you won't be able to see in there. Kind of reminds me of a 1/4-inch mic plug. You know, very high quality little cap. This thing is actually hard to get off once it's on there. There is basically a mounting accessory that clamps around the midsection. You can attach it to a Picatinny rail, and then there is a carrying handle off of that. I'll leave a link for, I think it's Jetbeam USA or something like that, their website down below. Now at 2 pounds, I wouldn't really recommend throwing it on a short barrel AR, but if you guys have some of the longer barrel 308s and a few of the other tactical rifles, it might be worth something. You know, if you can reach out and touch somebody, it may not matter that they can see you. You know, if you're dealing with other guys with short range weapons, and you're sitting there with a 308 and this thing's got an effective range at over 600 yards, if you can light them up and take them out before they can even, you know, really reach you, or you can put it in secondary position, use a remote switch maybe with a longer cable or something, and draw the fire away from you. But to have the effective range of over 600 yards is a pretty impressive feat, especially in something this small. The downside to that whole back end area is I wish they built it flush mount. If you can see, that actually sticks out from the bottom, and so you can't really set it on its tail. Now of course it's a tactical light, it's not meant to be that, but with the 600 supposed lumens of the TK, I can actually push all that lumen onto the ceiling and diffuse the light in the room, and you'd be amazed, this thing on high or just turbo, how it'll light up an entire living room without having the focused, you know, spot beam, you know, carrying around as a flashlight. I can set this up as a candle essentially, and it'll illuminate an entire living room. You know, may not every dark corner, but people can easily function. You can have conversations, and it's one of the best lights, even beyond getting like a, you know, I've got, you know, a lantern, and this is a great lantern, but it's not going to put light everywhere. And if you have a pretty open space, like a bedroom or living room, where you can just set this in the middle and push it off the ceiling and let the white ceiling diffuse the light, you've got a great room light that way in an emergency situation, especially with some of the runtimes. You know, it's nice having these little pocket lights, but you know, you get a little bit bigger cells and a little bit more lumens pushing out of these, and you can easily get these runtimes that we're talking about, these 10 days of constant on, constant off. If you think 250 hours on low, if you only use that 1 hour a day, that's 250 days of runtime. So obviously it depends how you use your light, but it's very capable. And after this, I'll insert me out playing around with them and see what you think. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Hope I did this review justice. It is a very cool light, but it is going to be starting to get on the high end. Even the TK-40 is over 150 bucks. You may be able to find it on sale now since it's been out. You can also see the Duracoating is not holding on the button, and around the edges where it's been trashed around the truck is wearing off a little bit. But yeah, very cool light. Very neat company. I'm going to be keeping an eye on them because I think I might go back and get some of their smaller lights. I've just been impressed with the build quality and just some of the features that they carry. They aren't just a tactical light that does 1200 lumens, you know, for 20 minutes, or 1200 lumens and then after 10 minutes the LCD or the LED kicks it down, you know, down to half that to save the LED from burning out. There's a lot of companies that are building bright lights, but they're just buying the LED and they're overdriving it, or you know, they're claiming features that you're only allowed to use for 10 minutes. And you can use the Jetbeam on high until the battery runs out. It's pretty impressive. I think the LED and the power supply are a great combo, and it's kind of the mid-range. You can certainly spend more money and you can certainly spend less money, but I think you'll be happy with something like that in a nice small package. You've got a lot of firepower there. And next we'll cut to playing in the woods. Alright, what you're seeing is the sun about to fall behind the south sister of the Three Sisters Mountains in the Cascade Mountain Range in Oregon. And you're looking through my blue blocker so the camera doesn't go crazy. But we're waiting for the sun to go down. This will be right after the Beast Studio where we kind of go into depth and giving you an up-close look here. But what we're going to do is do some direct comparisons between the Fenix TK-40 and the Jetbeam RRT-3. And pretty impressed with it so far, but we're going to see how much this little old camera can pick up. Here's HID. Here's HID on high. Let the camera adjust a little bit. Here's the rigid 2x2s. Kind of have them all centered there. What I'm going to try and do is the large tree you see the base of right there is about 50 yards. And you can't really make out, there's a big tree right here which is about 100 yards. So I tilt this back a little bit. We're going to use that as kind of a basis here. So you can see on the camera, I can see it here, but on the camera the rigids, you know, they do well at 50 yards according to the camera, but that 100-yard throw is a little rugged. So let me kill those. Alright, let's see. I'm starting out at the 50-yard tree. This is the TK-40 Fenix on low. There's medium. Still not seeing anything on the camera really. Here's high. Okay, you can see high now. Definitely 50 yards, super bright. This one's about 30 yards. And let's see if you can see that tree in the background here. 100-yard tree. Pretty well. All right, let's go to turbo. It's just a little bit brighter. Over here. I can see it with my naked eye, but the camera's not picking it up. This isn't even completely dusk. I was hoping the camera might have a little better time with the more dusk. Alright, here's moonlight. You're not going to see moonlight. This is the on the Jet RRT-3. There's low, second up low. You can start to see that. You can definitely see the 30 yard. 50 yard, I can see it on here. One more. Next highest. You can start to see that 100-yard one on the camera. Let's go all the way up here. You can definitely see that on the camera. 1200 lumens sure beats the 6. You can start making out. It's got a decent spill, but this is a good thrower. I mean, it's got a definite hot spot center beam. First time I've had it out. Bring over here. See if you can see all of those. You can see I've got the hot spot over here, and it fills up max nicely with the side fill beam. So I mean, it's not totally useless. It's not so focused that I can't see things around me. You can see there's the edge. If I burn them in there, but yeah, not too bad. There's something in this tree that he wants.